We want to get into tariffs. We want to see what's going on in the economy, and we want to figure out how we can capitalize off of what's happening. So let's first go over to Europe. The European Union uh, offered up their response to Trump's tariffs. We had been anticipating what Europe was going to say, and they finally responded, and this is what they had to say. I want to speed it up. I want to get towards the middle, and then we want to kind of solve for what's happening out here in these streets, all right?
Prime Minister, dear Jonas, a very warm welcome. Norway will be able to participate in the joint procurement of SAFE, that's our 150 billion euro loan program. And industry in Norway will be treated like EU industries. On Ukraine, I was very pleased to hear what your plans are, because Norway has from day one on being a key supporter. If we take now our financial support combined with your own assistance, this will make a difference for Ukraine right now. We, of course, also discussed the progress on the Green Alliance, which we signed in April 2 years ago. We're turning words now into reality through concrete products, from offshore wind to hydrogen to CCS and CCUS. And in particular, we agreed to speed up the coordination between Norway, member states and our companies to get even more projects up and running. Because in the global clean tech race, we also know together we are stronger. We also discussed the effects of the US tariffs. These tariffs come first and foremost at immense costs for US consumers and businesses.
Why have y'all noticed that? And again, it's a couple different things, because we want to pay attention to the details. We don't want to just look at it in a vacuum, okay? Have you noticed from Canada to China to Europe, all of them always lead with, and I'll tell you why, all of them always lead with, now on the U.S. tariffs, this is going to cost an enormous amount of money to the U.S. consumers. Why are they speaking to our people? And remember what I had a conversation with y'all about in the beginning of this live stream, when I said that we are an emotional people. We are a very, very emotional people. It is very easy to manipulate us. They never talk about what happens with their people. When we levy tariffs, when we put tariffs on people, or when we're trying to discuss or negotiate or have conversations about whatever is going, we talk about making America great again. We don't speak to their people, and I'll tell you why. Because we have all the leverage. So if they're trying to fix a problem, they have to react to it by trying to appeal to the American people. They don't start off and say, hey, listen, this is what we dealing with. This is how we're affected. This is what's going on. They start off and they always say, hey, listen, and this is going to affect the American people. When we ship our Mercedes-Benzes over there, you guys are absolutely going to be paying an extra amount of money, which is funny because I got a call from a link that I have over at Mercedes-Benz, part of the dealership network. He actually runs one of the major dealerships at Mercedes-Benz. We also have here in Michigan, we have like an all-black Mercedes-Benz dealership or whatever, so on and so forth. So different links in different places. And he said, Anton, yo, they are keeping pricing the same. I said, what do you mean? He said, Mercedes has decided to absorb whatever costs come along with the Trump tariffs, which means that, and this is my words, not his, which means that we make extra money as a result of the tariffs while at the same time paying the same price. We pay the same price. Go and look it up. Mercedes is absorbing whatever costs that come along with the tariffs from the United States of America and choosing not to raise their prices. Same with Toyota, same with Honda, same with Nissan, same with every other automaker. Now, that means a couple different things. Number one, it means that they always had the room to absorb the cost in the first place and that they was never passing it on to the consumer. I've been telling y'all this since we started talking tariffs. They have been, you are absolutely right talking my Ish TV. They have been overcharging for decades, and you pay it because you think that that's just the normal cost of doing business. And I told y'all that when these jobs were shipped to other places and then they shipped these products back to the United States to sell it to you, they didn't lower the prices and then pass the savings on to the consumer. They just continued to make money. They continue to make money. So while y'all out here crashing out, I don't like Trump, it's going to be higher costs. Well, number one, if you want to ensure that you're not paying a higher amount of money, then that means that we have a competitive market. We have a free marketplace where there's tons of different automakers. Shop at the one that is going to give you the best deal. Secondly, you can always buy American and ensure that whoever it is that's selling you the product is not giving you tariffs. And third, 99.9% of these companies are overcharging you for the products that they are not employing you to make. So if these companies choose to still import or export to the United States of America and not build here, that means that as long as they selling products here, not only will they be tariffed, but they already comfortable with their profit margins regardless. When did y'all liberals start feeling bad for big business? That's what I need. I got to have a conversation about. When did liberals start feeling bad for bankers, Wall Street, and big business? I didn't even know that y'all cared about that. I thought that y'all was about defunding Wall Street, defunding the police, and making sure that y'all charge higher taxes on individuals inside of the United States of America. Isn't that hypocritical? We spent the last 5-6 years, y'all was on Wall Street, not getting nothing, saying that y'all wanted to tax the rich and eat the rich. Remember those shirts, eat the rich? Y'all never cared about anything and anybody. Y'all said eat the rich. You said eat the rich. You wanted to tax people that made above a certain amount of money, 60, 70, 80% taxes. But you don't want to tax people that are exporting products here at your own demise and overcharging you for something that is not giving you any more value. So you are truly against America. So you just cantankerous. You just don't even care. You just angry for no reason. Remember watch Street Gaming. Remember when they were saying tax the rich? Remember that? Oh, that y'all forgot about that one. Boycott Wall Street. Oh, that went away. They ain't even trip about it. Shut the banks down and all of this and make sure that they redistribute the money. Remember when Kamala Harris was going on her campaign trail? I went and got on the California banks to return money back to the people. I thought that y'all was against big business and corporations. I thought that y'all wanted to break up monopolies and all of this stuff. But now it's okay because Trump did it, even though Nancy Pelosi and all of the Democrats were saying that they wanted to do it a long time ago. Now it's cool, right?
But at the same time, they have a massive impact on the global economy, especially hard hit.
Did you hear what I said, Tyree Mathis? Did you hear what I said? If you don't want to pay extra money, buy American. Number two, they have said, and you can go and read the reports if you want to go and check it out. Listen, we're tired of y'all opinion. We don't care about your opinion. Your opinion comes after you actually understand the facts. They are not raising the prices. They are actually lowering the prices. There has become a war amongst automakers to lower prices to seize more business from U.S. consumers. They are not raising the prices. They are absorbing the prices. I don't know if you got that part.
Are the developing countries. And this is a major turning point for the United States. Nonetheless, we stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests. And in addition, we will also protect ourselves against indirect effects through trade diversion.
So now Europe is saying that they want to offer a 0 for 0 tariff. Let me rewind that so that you hear it.
Always ready for a good deal, zero tariffs for the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners.
So now you want to offer 0 for 0 tariffs. Now you want to offer 0 for 0 tariff. Where was this deal at prior to Trump actually saying that he wanted to raise tariffs on other countries? How come nobody was coming to the negotiating table and saying, you know what? We want to proactively offer 0 for 0 tariffs to strengthen a relationship with the United States of America and to ensure that we are great trading partners in the future. How come Trump didn't start getting phone calls until after he said that we are about to implement these tariffs? We are offering 0. That still ain't fair. It's still not fair because we still take in more of your products than you're taking in of ours. That's just the starting point. That's the beginning of the negotiation. You're going to have to offer something much better. But the fact that you coming to the table now, it's like a woman saying, you know what, I'm going to do right. I'm going to get it together after you're about to walk out the door. No. Okay. So that means that you always had the capability to do better in the first place. Why are you just now getting your life together? Oh, so now you want to be submissive. Now, because the streets is calling and you realize that it's cold outside. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to start cooking and cleaning. So why wasn't you cooking and cleaning the first time? Why did it take for it to get to this point before you decided that you wanted to do the right thing inside of this relationship? Give me a second. I'm going to think about it. We're not going to make an emotional decision. We're going to hold off for a second.
Because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared.
We got it. Let's move over into the next clip because Trump is saying, listen, I don't know if this is a good deal. I don't know. I see a woman at the negotiating table that looks like she's weak. Maybe we need to have a deeper conversation.
Now, the European Union has offered to remove all tariffs on cars and industrial goods from the US, but President Trump now says it's not enough to make up for what he calls unfair trade. And the EU says it's tried to negotiate the so-called 0 for 0 deal weeks ago, but the offer remains on the table. Still, the bloc's trade ministers met in Luxembourg to discuss their first retaliatory tariffs set at 25%, aimed at countering US levies on steel and aluminium. Ross Cullen has more.
Well, EU trade ministers meeting on Monday in Luxembourg had their first chance to take stock of everything that's happened politically and financially over the past few days. It was a chance for them to discuss the next steps and the next moves. Now, Maroš Šefčovič, who is the EU's top trade negotiator, top trade commissioner, he was leading those talks on Monday, and he said he thought it was only a matter of time before Brussels and Washington came to a mutually acceptable compromise. And the EU has so far outlined that it wants 2 rounds or 2 tranches of countermeasures to be imposed on the United States, although it's hoping that negotiations will bear fruit. The first of those dates to start collecting import duties would be the 15th of April, and then there would be a second round starting on the 15th of May.
We are not in a business to going, let's say, cent for cent or tit for tat or dollar for dollar, but we of course would consider what are all the other instruments which we have on the table.
This is all in response to the United States' imposition of tariffs on the automotive sector, of tariffs on the steel and aluminium sectors, and of those famous reciprocal tariffs announced by the US President in the garden of the White House on the 2nd of April. Now,
Uncut, I noticed that you was agreeing with me. See, I watched your live stream that you had. I had to rewatch it because I wasn't able to catch it live. I was caught up in a little bit of a skerfuffle, a little bit of a thing, you know what I'm saying, because I was outside of the country. I liked your live stream, and I like the fact that you actually agreed with me. You tried to frame it as though you didn't agree with me at first, but you actually do agree with me. You do agree with me. And tariffs is just a tool. I agree with you, but you're assuming that everybody understand economics. I liked your live stream. I like the fact that you agreed with me, actually. Again, you tried to frame it as though you didn't agree with me, but I like the fact that you agreed with me, Ty. I like that. I like that. I absolutely like it. But it is a negotiating tool. It is a way for us to level the playing field that both Democrats, this should not be something that is divisive amongst the Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives. We should not be being taken advantage of in the United States of America. We should not be taken advantage of in the United States of America. And so we leverage the tools in our arsenal. And what I've personally found is that the best way for you to deal with and to hit somebody where it hurts, it's not war, it's not battle, it's not on the battlefield. I believe war is a way for other people to enrich their friends. They use war and territorial disputes and lines drawn in the sand to try to act like, hey, this is what we really care about. This is something that's actually meaningful to us. They use war as a tool to enrich themselves. I don't believe that actually going to war is anything other than an enrichment tool for people that are already billionaires or own companies that is going to benefit from the military industrial complex at all. If you really want to hurt somebody, then you got to hit them where it hurt in their pocketbooks. You have to hit them where it actually makes sense. And it only makes sense if it's coming in their pocketbooks. And so we have the biggest tool on the face of the planet and the earth. And it's the fact that y'all think that the biggest tool is the fact that we just have a great military and all of this stuff. That's not. The greatest tool that we have is the fact that you guys are the biggest consumers in the world.